My name is Navneet. I am from Bangalore. I'm currently doing my bachelor's in computer science at Loránd University in Hungary. So and
Yeah.
I'm also a quantitative developer intern at Citibank. I was in grade 8. In one of the local channels, my parents saw one of your interviews or
Okay.
shoot. I think from back there, I knew about you. When I was looking for towards applying abroad, I had visited a few consultancies and I also visited Europe Studies Center among them. So I did notice that among all the other, compared to other consultancies, I don't know which take names, but it just felt like they were trying to sell me a service. But when I visited Europe Studies Center, I was explained about my choices and what I'm. Oh, I was elated actually. So I think this
Ex-
happened before any of the results of the competitive exams in India. Before I got any of those results, I got to know that I got accepted in both the universities here in Hungary. So in Eötvös University and also University of Pécs, I got accepted to both, and they were pretty soon in actually informing me as well. So I think I was elated to find out, and I was actually pretty. The visa process was very smooth, to be honest. So I think thanks to Europe Studies Center, we had a lot of documents and templates of the documents that's necessary. So that helped in making of preparing all documents. So once we had all the documents ready, I was guided how to book my visa appointment. I did that. I had my visa appointment in Mumbai. I visited the visa consulate general of Hungary. Then I think in about a month and a half, I got my visa without any issues. There was no missing document, nothing. Because my course is mostly practical focused here. There's theoretical focus, but not a lot. So I would say about 70% is practical focus and 30% is at least a PhD or a postdoc holder. Everybody is working on their research, and it feels like when they come to teach us, that is, as you said, it's like a part-time thing. They come in to teach us one lecture a week or maybe two lectures, depending on how the course is. So if it's just for the 2 hours, they become a lecturer, professor for students. For the rest of the time, they're researching. They have their own things going on, and they're very relevant in the industry. They are producing research papers, and conferences they're presenting. So I think they're very much connected to the industry with the compared to engineering courses in back home. The first year is mostly repetition of what is happened already in grade 11 and 12. Like there's chemistry, physics, and there's a little bit of computer science and some new courses which I'm not particularly I can't remember right now, but there's some new courses. But when it comes to here, I think the first semesters we got directly into the core concepts of computer science. Second semester is again it starts. So building a strong network here is really important, especially when in a field like tech. I think having strong network, attending extracurricular events is to be passionate and dedicated toward this, because if you're looking to get into the industry, or even if you want to continue to have a career in academia, only sticking with academics is not going to be sufficient. It's not going to suffice. You have to explore around, try out everything, and I think that's one of the things that I think I did in my early semesters when I had some free time. I used to just explore, just sit.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, all of you. My name is Shivaraman, Director of Europe Study Center. We're doing a lot of interviews with our students. So, yet another interview. Today, we are going to interview our student Navneet, who is doing his Bachelor's of Computer Science final year at Eötvös Loránd University in Hungary. Hi, Navneet. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hi, everybody. My name is Navneet. I'm from Bangalore. I'm currently doing my bachelor's in computer science at Loránd University in Hungary. So and I'm also a quantitative developer intern at Citibank. And apart from that, I'm a passionate tech enthusiast. I'm very enthusiastic about anything in tech and everything about. Basically, I'm very curious about anything that catches my interest.
Excellent, excellent. We are going to talk about all your work experience in between your study time itself. Which you had, I saw from your LinkedIn profile. So first, to start with, I could learn from your LinkedIn profile. You had a lot of achievements during your school days itself. So kindly enlighten the audience with your school achievements to start with.
In general, I think I wasn't just stuck with academics, so I experimented with everything. I've tried with modeling at United Nations and robotics, and a few other things. Like academically, I think some notable ones are I got 100% in Sanskrit in at grade 10 and 12, and on grade 11 I had a perfect 100 in PCMC, the common ones. And apart from that, I've taken part in many inter-school competitions and conferences that have that's basically that just led all together just led me towards making towards my interest in computer science and tech.
Wonderful.
So apart from that, the science exhibitions that I took part, that's because I feel I feel like I'm a creative person and I like creating, and I need to see my creation. So those are some things that I took part in.
Super. So basically, you always wanted to explore. This is what I understand from your
Yeah.
school achievements, basically. So by the time you were finishing up your 12th, when did this topic came of doing bachelor's itself abroad? When was that coming up?
Well, to be fair, I think this was back at the back of my mind that I want to do my bachelor's abroad. But it wasn't very sure because I think it was, as far as I remember, in grade 8, when I was in grade 8, in one of the local channels, my parents saw one of your interviews or
Okay.
shoot. I think from back there, I knew about Europe Study Center, but it was just a thought that when I come to grade 11 or 12, we'll think about those. So I think when I came to grade 11 after finishing grade 10, I my focus was also trying in India. I was also preparing for IIT, Karnataka, CET, Comet K. Along with that, I also started preparing my application for studying abroad, and that I started that I would say a year before at least, towards the end of my grade 11. I think that's when I started and looking for options for all the countries that I have and all the options I have.
Super. So basically, you were looking at the premier universities in our country. Parallelly, you had your applications uh,
Mm.
to European universities through Europe Study Center. So you visited our office with your parents, or how was it?
I think it was when I was looking for towards applying abroad. I had visited a few consultancies and I also visited Europe Study Center among them. So I did notice that among all the other, compared to other consultancies, I don't know which take names, but it just felt like they were trying to sell me a service. But when I visited Europe Study Center, I was explained about my choices and what suits me and what should be what Europe Study Center thinks is a good option for me. I was presented with them, so I think it was a great experience. I visited my parents. And, Sujita ma'am gave me option about Hungary, and she told me about two universities: the University of Pécs and Eötvös Loránd University as well. So it took me some time to like come back and research on those, and eventually I made my application accordingly.
Wonderful. So basically, you choose Hungary as your study
Yeah.
destination. Okay,
Initially, I was
fantastic.
looking to apply towards Germany, but then at the time, and I think even for now, I think Indian students cannot directly join after grade 12. We
Yeah,
need a
yeah, yeah.
foundation to balance. And I was not
Yes,
looking forward to doing any foundation year, or I was not keen on doing 1 year of bachelor in India and then trying to continue.
even me. I want to keep it straight and simple, no complications. That's why I don't get into that. So, does it? You would have to do some convincing your parents about bachelor's itself abroad, or they were also equally motivated as you were?
I think they were. I did not take a lot of convincing. They were very supportive, and they because even they hadn't seen your interview back in grade 8, and it was somewhere in the back of my mind, but towards grade 11 I think it became a little more solid, but it wasn't confirmed until grade 12. So I think even they were prepared for this. They saw it coming. So I did not have a lot of convincing, but I think I gave them an assurance that I am responsible enough, that I will take care of myself and I will study, maintain my health, take care of everything else, manage everything. I think that was more than assurance enough to convince them and give them the confidence that I'll manage everything abroad.
Super, amazing. So it made your life much easier because we have plenty of students like Navneet coming to office, planning their UG abroad. But you know where the block is? The parents. Why you have to go at UG level itself, especially the neighbor uncles and aunties, you know, they all have a say in our life, right?
Yeah.
This is the biggest problem. And the parents, you know, they get confused and they take the common route of studying bachelor's itself in India. But I am fighting hard, you know, young minds traveling abroad, studying at UG level itself, you know, in top public universities in Europe. For me, it's like the pinnacle, you know, in this particular domain. 17-year-old traveling abroad for his bachelor's. As we were discussing, before this, it may be a news to you or you may know about it. 95% of the students only studying computer science nowadays, at least in South India, basically. You see all colleges, all the departments are closed. People are only behind computer science right now. So how do you look at this particular uh, thing of all students choosing only computer science?
I think part of it is, I think it's because of, I think, peer pressure when surrounding everyone is choosing computer science. I think everyone tends to think that this is the one where there's a lot of packages and everyone is getting settled, well settled. So I think that's what I think pushes many students that maybe my friend is taking this. Let me just go with that. Some of them are maybe not interested in something else, but I don't know if they think there's enough scope or maybe they haven't done enough research about the domains.
And I like your bachelor choice because your bachelor's in computer science. It's much more open and it has a lot of applications. But rather, when people choose specialization at UG level itself, artificial intelligence or data science or cyber security at bachelor level itself, which I feel we are making it much more narrow going forward. What is your opinion on that, especially as a final year student in computer science at a top public university in Europe? What do you think?
I think if you're actually equally passionate or very passionate about it, then I don't think specialization makes any difference. But if you're choosing just because it's in the limelight right now, that AI is in, because AI is very popular, just if you choose AI for that, or just because data analytics sounds cool, so if you choose, I think that's where it starts to narrow down your options and limits you to certain things. I'm doing a BSc, which is a general, which is touching the fundamentals and core principles of computer science and all the core subjects. And for now, I don't really have a specialization in mind, and I'm just passionate about computer science in general. So I think this helps me open up a lot of opportunities in almost any domain that I can think of going further that needs computer science.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. You are like, these degrees are universally, employable wherever you want, whichever field you want, you can jump in. That's what I meant. Rather than making it very narrow, we keep it as wider as possible. So the moment, once you got the news that you are admitted into Eötvös Loránd, when Europe Study Center informed you, how did you feel?
Oh, I was elated actually. So I think this happened before before any of the results of the competitive exams in India. Before I got any of those results, I got to know that I got accepted in both the universities here in Hungary. So in Eötvös University and also University of Pécs, I got accepted to both, and they were pretty soon in actually informing me as well. So I think I was elated to find out, and I was actually pretty happy. But I was also at the time, because I was still preparing for those exams, I was still waiting on those results. But I think I was almost sure that I think I will go to Hungary for my bachelor's, and this was very interesting and appealing to me at the time.
Exactly. And also at Europe Study Center, we follow the mantra of applying only to the premier universities in that particular country. So obviously, if it's Hungary, then it's Eötvös Loránd. There is nothing much to look beyond it. So how did your visa process go at Europe Study Center?
The visa process was very smooth, to be honest. So I think thanks to Europe Study Center, we had a lot of documents and templates of the documents that's necessary. So that helped in making of preparing all documents. So once we had all the documents ready, I was guided how to book my visa appointment. I did that. I had my visa appointment in Mumbai. I visited the visa consulate general of Hungary. Then I think in about a month and a half, I got my visa without any issues. There was no missing document, nothing at all. Like everything was perfect.
Super, super, super. See, because students, when they just follow all these template and arrange the documents well and prepare for the interview, then it becomes a very, very easier process. So now to the mission of traveling to Hungary and, starting up your studies. That time you were like 17, 18? Oh, correct?
I had just turned 18 at the time.
Just turned 18.
2 days before my visa interview. So,
Okay, super. So, how was your initial days in Hungary? How did you feel actually? The moment you landed, the first few weeks?
initially, everything was very overwhelming because that was the first time I came abroad. Given that because of my visa was delayed for a month and a half due to reasons that's beyond our control. So I came in and I came directly almost during the midterm week. So when I came to the university, I see everybody was studying and everyone, before I could even introduce myself and make friends. I can see everybody's already studying, and that was confusing to me because the weather is slightly, it was slightly cold, not very cold, but it was slightly cold compared to India. And so I was managing between food, making food, and getting my life together, my other life outside the university together, and trying to get sort the university. So the first few weeks was a little hectic, but I think one step at a time, I was able to manage everything in the about a month and a half, and I was ready with everything in the first semester.
Okay, so maybe we can say like from a boy under the parents' umbrella to a man transmission. Can we say like that? Because here you have to do everything on your own, right? That's what I meant. So from a boy to a man, correct? Can we say that way?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
there's so many other responsibilities that came in, which I knew what was coming, but I really didn't feel the effect of it. Like doing my laundry, taking care of myself, waking up on time in the morning because I'm a person who studies mostly at night. So waking up in the morning to show up to university, coming back, making myself lunch, dinner, and all meals of the day, and studying at the same time was something that was seemed very complicated and overwhelming. But I think I was able to manage it very well.
You pulled it off quite brilliantly. And I would say every youngster at the age of 17, 18 should go through this to handle this world. You know, this competitive, cruel world for us to manage. We need to plan ahead and we need to get prepared so that we face this left, right, and center. So, how did your first semester go? Because I also studied abroad, but of course, not like you, only my master's. And then, how did the first semester go? Because first semester is always challenging. So, how was your first semester at Eötvös, Loránd, doing computer science bachelor's?
First semester was, I think it was interesting. I mean, it was interesting in many ways. One, because it was a culture shock almost every day for me. Every day, everything is something new for me. So, and because here, unlike engineering, to the best of my knowledge, is they have in the first semester, in the first year, it's mostly repeated courses from grade 12 and 11. But here it was, I don't remember anything as repeated. There was even a math course which was a little repeated and some new concepts. And we directly got into computer science fundamentals. So getting directly into the core concepts, and it looked a little difficult, but I think eventually it depends on the course. And I think I was getting used to the studying the course structures over here, which is not similar to back home. I feel
Yeah.
there's being spoon feed here a lot. Everything is the lecturers teach you what's necessary, and then it all boils down to your self study at the end and your practice and how you do it, and you have to actually understand it. So I think my methods of studying had to change when I came here. So that took me a while, and it was a little something was shocking that on the exams I don't have to write 35 to 40 pages of papers. For example, in math here, it was just 5 questions or 6 questions, and they give me the question. I had to write it literally under that, unlike filling many answer sheets.
So, this is why I asked this question. You know, you had to change a lot of things when it comes to your learning pattern is concerned when we are going to do our bachelor's or especially masters in Europe. Basically, that's why I asked this question, and you had that same line in your replies. So, as you were rightly pointing out, you know, it's Navneet, it's sad to see even in this digital era. Okay, you know, people writing record notes, observation, and they write programs on their answer sheets for them to pass the questions, and still studying outdated syllabus, and also, you know, professors taking classes of artificial intelligence or data science where they have never worked on these topics, but they just blindly come and take classes, which I feel it's like you know, it's a non-starter because they will not be able to give the real picture to the students. And in my last interview, there was a girl who told me, sir, all my professors are part-time because full-time they are in the industry. Part-time they come and take classes. You understand? Some
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
professors. But here, you know, if you see many lecturers and professors, they get along with the bus at 6 o'clock along with the student, and they come back in the same bus along at 6:30 or 7 in the evening without any sort of industrial connection. So kindly, you know, enlighten the audience with the support system that you had. That is your professors, how knowledgeable, how good they were, and all these things. Your experience with professors at Eötvös, Loránd.
So the professors here. So I think for most lecturers, everyone is a PhD, at least a PhD or a postdoc holder. Everybody is working on their research, and it feels like when they come to teach us, that is, as you said, it's like a part-time thing. They come in to teach us one lecture a week or maybe two lectures, depending on how the course is. So if it's just for the 2 hours, they become a lecturer, professor for students. For the rest of the time, they're researching. They have their own things going on, and they're very relevant in the industry. They are producing papers, research papers, and conferences they're presenting. So I think they're very much connected to the industry with the latest emerging technology as well. And they are very approachable here. Unlike what I can think of is then the professors don't really have a headweight that I'm a PhD holder. I need to have this level of respect. You can't come in late to my class. You can't do this. They're very open and very approachable here, and they treat us like adults. So
Super.
even
So
they don't really care if students are watching something on their phone in the class or playing games. They treat us like adults. It's your
super.
responsibility.
Super, super. It's not like, okay, you're not wearing the ID card. You did not bring the observation book. Get out of my class. Nothing like that.
No, no, they treat everyone very maturely. Like you're mature adults,
I
so
will,
you have to understand your
along with
responsibility.
you, I would like to share a small incident in a short time. There was a guy, who, I don't want to say the university's name. He pointed out that the concept that the professor is explaining is wrong, and the professor got offended. And you know what? In India, we have this internal mark system, right? Where out of
Yeah.
80, they write the written exam, 20 is internals, and he got 0 for that because he had pointed out the mistake of the professor. I feel, what does it tell the other students? We should never ask questions to this professor. We should just keep quiet, which is not a healthy environment at all. Correct?
Yeah, I think here there's a flexibility of you can challenge the professor, and it's a very healthy debates of such.
Oh, wow.
I think for lectures, at least, it's nobody really questions as much. But even when you question, you have the professor will answer something, or at least will get back to you if they don't, they're not able to give you the time in the lecture. But I think that's one part of the course. When there's the practice part, that's the lab part, or when they have to teach it on board. In that case, there's sometimes the lecturers teaching themselves, or we have PhD students who teach them, or sometimes the senior students like us who teach the junior students, or sometimes it's again other teachers. And in those classes, the lab classes are much more interactive. So
Wonderful.
it's more like a discussion that we're discussing and doing code together. So you can
Excellent.
come up with different approaches, challenge their approach. And if you think you have a better one, I think sometimes you're even given extra points if you come up with different.
Super. So, whatever points Navneet you have listed out, I feel especially for an undergraduate student, it's like an ideal study environment.
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. So then, what about the examination pattern? How do they conduct the exams? As you rightly said, you don't have to write 44 pages or 40 pages to clear your examinations like your friends doing bachelors in India. So how does your examination happen? Kindly enlighten the audience.
So because my course is mostly practical focused here, there is theoretical focus, but not a lot. So I would say about 70% is practical focus and 30% is theoretical focus. So theoretical focus subjects like, for example, let's say there's math. So with maths, let's say there's a lecture part and then there's a practice part. Practice part is a practical part of it where there's, let's say, 5 to 6 questions. We have samples of what we can expect, and and I think there's a midterm and there's an end term and there's continuous assessment. So it's not just dependent on one final exam that determines your grade for the whole course. It's continuous. So there's midterm and end term. Some courses have a requirement of doing homeworks every week or assignment every week. So have your grade counted. So it's a continuous assessment or at least midterm and final. And those are the ones where you don't have to write a lot. You have to write decent enough. And then there's a theory part of it, the lecture part of it, which is mostly there's some part of it which is multiple choice, and then there's a secondary part of it which is oral examination. So you have to explain the concepts or prove theorems if you want a better and a much shinier grade than what you have. And when it comes to technical courses like the programming courses, it is of course programming and these courses, and it's not easy as how we have back home. Like there's this 10 to 15 programs you have to memorize all them, and for your luck and out of your luck any of those will come even by picking up shit or something. It's not that. You have to understand everything, how it works from every class, because that's how you have to do it. And sometimes it is designed in such a way that not many students are able to clear it in the first attempt, so they have a retake attempt already. So the students can first take the attempt, and if they don't like the grade they can retake. So I think for
So,
programming courses it's coding mostly, and you have to understand what you're doing.
Exactly. That is the important factor. So you don't write record notes also, correct? You don't do it. You don't do
No,
such
there's
things.
no lab
See why I
records.
ask this. I know that you don't write it, but people need to understand. We need to come out of all these old school ideologies and be proactive and only do purposeful things. And I always say your university should have two important factors: industry connected professors and syllabus, and it should be a practical education. If these two things are not there, we just get the degrees printed and get it behind our name. Beyond that, knowledge aspect is very less. So now I want to ask you, I'm sure you will be in touch with your school friends who are studying back home in India, correct? Few of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you will discuss like what they are studying and what you are doing. Do you even compare with them?
I sometimes I've asked them what they're studying and what I've been studying. I tell them, and when I've looked at few because I've before I came here, I was looking at options with what's the syllabus in the first year for them and for second year for them, and what's the syllabus here. And I think the main key difference I can notice is, at least compared to engineering courses in back home, the first year is mostly repetition of formulas have been already in grade 11 and 12. Like there's chemistry, physics, and there's a little bit of computer science and some new courses which I'm not particularly I can't remember right now, but there's some new courses. But when it comes to here, I think the first semesters we got directly into the core concepts of computer science. Second semester is again it starts building upon that and some new courses. So I think we have compared to back home, I think here we're directly diving deep into the actual concepts in the first semester itself.
Semester itself. Wonderful.
So
So then
all the students are getting an idea of what is actual computer science and how it is going to be going further.
going further. So then I could learn from your LinkedIn profile, and you also told in the intro of the video, you had a lot of work experiences, even though you are only in the final semester of your studies at UG level. A 20-year-old guy having already 2-3 experiences, with reference to professional work. It's really, really overwhelming to see all those things. So kindly enlighten your work experiences that you had in between your studies.
So professionally, there's a requirement at my university that if you have to graduate, you need to do an internship of 320 hours. I think it's pretty common even back home. But I think the internships back home is like you can pay companies for, I don't know, 100 rupees to 15,000 or 20,000, and they will give you certificates. But here
100%.
here you have to find you need to find your internship on your own. You have to work for 320 hours. That's about 8 weeks to graduate. So while looking for internships, I applied everywhere off campus, and I got internship at Citibank. I worked full time in the summer. Fortunately, I
Wow.
got an offer to extend after the summer during my semester as well to work part time, and that's exactly how I'm working. Also, I'm continuing to work with Citibank. Apart from that, there's like a Google developer group. There's a club at the university, a student club, so which is funded by the Google region of Europe. So they I'm a part of the organizing committee. So we organize events for juniors or freshmen or anyone basically in the master's course students, PhD students or bachelor students, whoever's interested in tech events and hackathons. We organize events for them. So I'm part of that team as well. So I work. I have these are few experience that I have. And apart from this, I've just I think I will soon be even teaching assistant at the next semester at the university. So I'll be teaching my juniors at the university as well.
Wow. All this at the age of 20. Amazing. I'm sure, even the audience and especially your parents watching this interview, they'll be proud of what you have achieved, you know, uh, at this age. And it's all because, of course, your parents supported you, all these things, but your efforts and your focus and your intent to be different and to be effective and keep growing, I think that is what it has taken you at this heights, at this age itself. So, what you would like to tell our audience who are still hesitating to plan their bachelor's in Europe, what would you say as a person who is just about to complete the degree successfully and currently even working before even the degree getting completed? What would you like to tell those students and parents who are in two minds whether to go or not?
I would say, firstly, try to list down all the advantages and disadvantages, and then I think take a leap of faith that everything can be achieved here. It's possible, and trust the process. And don't question yourself. Don't underestimate. Everything is possible. All you have to do is, I mean, be confident and be determined and dedicated towards your studies here, not focusing on other irrelevant things that you're not supposed to at this age. At least for me, I came with a clear intent and goal that I am here to make my career. I need to learn and also make my career. So I think my main goal is focus on studying and getting an internship and some experience. So I think having clear goals like that and not deviating from those, and having a long term goal is very important.
Very important, because
I
you
feel like
know people,
getting out is like getting out of the comfort zone. Coming abroad is like going out of comfort zone, which teaches not just about academics. It's an overall all round development. In my opinion, at least.
exactly, because people, in South India, they spend 6.5 lakhs, 7 lakhs per year fee structure, and the professors and lecturers, not in all the cases, but in most of the cases, the subjects they take, they have never worked in real time projects. And we memorize and write the examination, and people spend close to 25 lakhs to finish their artificial intelligence, at least in Chennai. I don't know about Bangalore costing, I believe it will be even more. And when you
It's
look at the ROI or the other aspects, it's way far. And I read a report, only 10% of the engineering graduates passing out in 2024 are employable. Really shocking. But parents or students, they still are puzzled to understand what exactly is the problem, because we don't understand what is the problem, then we can never find the solutions. That's why when Sujita said you are ready to do the interview, I was like very happy, especially doing an interview with a successful bachelor student means a lot. Now slightly coming into your financials, so what is the tuition fees that you pay at Eötvös Loránd per year, and what is your approximate monthly expenses?
So back when I started, I think it was 3,000 euros per semester. I think because I started back then, so it's still about 3,000 euro per semester, which is about 6,000 euro per year, close to 5 lakhs per year.
Okay.
I think as per the calculation,
So
about
so
5.5
yeah.
lakhs.
Sorry, Navneet. So it's like cheaper than studying in Chennai.
Yeah, and this is only the tuition fees. So in
Yeah,
tuition
but
fees,
still, yeah.
and I think now it's 3,200. I think does not make a huge difference, a couple
Yeah.
thousands. And then my living expense is nearly the same. So I think about 3,000 per semester for my tuition fee, 3,000 for my living expense. And I think I've in my early semesters, because I don't really do partying. I don't go around partying a lot. No alcohol, no smoking. No,
You don't have no time also.
yeah, there's really not much time actually. And I don't prioritize partying or any of those more than academics. So I was able to minimize all those unnecessary expenses, and I was able to bring everything down easily in within 3,000, much less than 3,000 per semester.
Super. Very
So I,
focused. Especially, I always tell students, if you are taking these three subjects, that is informatics, that is what you are studying right now, or mechatronics, or this electronics. These three subjects, I always say, super extreme focus is required, especially when you're going at UG level. You need to be really focused and really working hard. That's why I'm sure at Bangalore branch also they would have told you not to focus about part-time jobs, etc., etc. Our focus is only studies. Yes. So have you already started your final semester project?
I am soon going to be starting developing on that, but
You
I've already
already
designed.
choose the topic?
Searching. Yes. Chosen topic a few months ago, and I've already registered at the university. So we need to find a supervisor, get them to agree, and discuss with them. So I think in that way, I'm still almost done with the researching, and I'm soon going to be starting my development of the project, because in a
Excellent.
couple of months I have to present that. So
Okay, super. So how does your day start? For example, a typical Monday to Friday. How does your day start, and how does it end? What all you have to do in a day?
so each semester
Typical day.
this was different. So earlier semesters, because it was I didn't have work and it was only university. So if I have a morning class, let's say, and here the classes, unlike back home, it's not 8 to 5 fixed continuous every day or 8 to 4. It is very varied and very random. At least for the first 2 semesters, you don't get to choose what classes you want or when you want. But after that, you get to choose and make your own timetable. So early semester, when I did not have choices, the first 2 semesters, if I had a class in the morning, I used to wake up, eat some breakfast, go to class, and then if I have time in between the next class, I stay at the university. Or if there's a long, really long break, I come back home, I used to eat my lunch, go back again. I think I wasted a little time coming back and going in the early semesters, which I think I could have skipped. But I think eventually I started getting used to it. And if there's no class, I used to just stay at home, eat, have my breakfast, study, continue it again till evening. That was how it was, and then do my other important chores like getting groceries, doing the laundry, cleaning, and all the essentials. In the recent times, when I'm because I'm also working part time now, if it's a Monday, I specifically choose not to have classes on Mondays as much as possible because I feel like that makes it like an extended weekend for me from Saturday Sunday, and because I feel like I want to work on Mondays, so I keep my Mondays off so I can go to the office and do work at the office for Mondays and Tuesdays. And then I used to schedule my classes for I condense it down to Wednesdays and Thursdays. And one of the good things I like about my university is if you have a good GPA in a semester, and if it's above certain GPA range, you get to skip lectures in the next semester. You don't have to necessarily attend lectures; they won't count your lecture attendance. So because there's sometimes I feel I don't have to attend a 2 hour lecture completely in at morning 8 a.m. on a Monday, which I think I can watch it on my own. There's a recording; I can watch it in 2x. I can watch it in half the time, pause as I feel like, and take notes. So because I think I have that flexibility of not attending lectures this semester as well. So I think that's the reason I was able to skip those lectures and directly go only to the lab classes as required for the week. So I used to go to universities about 2 days a week, and the rest of the days was work and study.
Wonderful, man. Even, this is my 16th year in this industry. To listen to you and to listen to your day schedule, and you are in your final semester of your bachelor's and working, studying, managing studies. It's really, 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 really amazing, to listen to all these things basically. And then how happy your parents are.
They're happy. They're really happy that it turned out well. They're I was actually more concerned about how I'm managing everything and if I'm able to manage everything without letting it affect my health. So I think that way I think I'm good that I've not let anything affect my health so far and I'm managing everything. I think the
Super.
reason I made it like this is because I can't sit free. I don't like sitting free, so I make it very hectic for myself and I like to stay occupied with everything.
Because Navneet, this is the age, where you keep pushing your limits. I mean to say, study wise, you have to, meaning you are actually pushing it to the next level. So, any last few words of young computer science students, especially the school going students watching this interview? Any words to them? Any piece of, you can take it as advice or your personal experience, how they should prepare for a bachelor in Europe?
One is you have to be very adaptable because if you're coming abroad, the first things you have to be adaptable to almost
Okay.
everything, food, living your life, and how completely adaptable, and then changing your study habits. You have to break out of your old mindset like a lot. There's going to be a lot of culture shock, especially if you're like me who has never been abroad and this was your first time coming abroad and living abroad. And so yeah, so those are some things that I can think of right now. And additionally, just because I mentioned that it's maybe not as hectic as the schedule is maybe not hectic. Maybe I don't have to write so many papers in the exam. It doesn't mean it's easier over here. It is equally harder and it is tougher. So even though I had good academic grades in it back home, and it was because it became very easy and it was monotonous for me. It was like a spoon fed thing for most of us back home. Here, it's not everything is you have to understand how to learn how to actually do self study, and each course is different. Each course has its own way. And I think the next important thing I would like to mention is you have to be ready to interact with everyone and make new friends. I have noticed most people, including me, I think initially it was very comforting to just be around Indians and just stick to Indians. It was initially very comforting, but I eventually I realized that's not the whole purpose of coming abroad. Is I have to interact with everyone, learn from everyone, understand their perspective, then their thoughts. There are they might have contradictory opinions and perspectives which you have no idea about. So I think those are really good. So building a strong network here is really important, especially when in a field like a tech. So I think having strong network, attending extracurricular events is really important. As a heads up, I think I would give for potential students is uh, universities here, they do not have really what is known as like college fest or any of those what we have back home, because I have noticed a few of my juniors have asked me about is that if there's a college fest, any of that. That's not really a thing because there's so many other extracurriculars going on, and that should not be one of the priorities of while joining a university UG level.
even even some parents they ask me, sir, do they provide South Indian meals at these European universities? Then we will send our children. Then I say, sorry, madam, South Indian meals are provided in our universities. They don't provide South Indian meals. They only provide high quality education, which is the uh, need of the hour. So then to sum up, so after your bachelor's, you're already working. So maybe you will continue working for a few years and then plan for your master's, or what does the plan look like now? Just curious to know. That's all.
For right now, I am still exploring options. So in the next couple months, I don't know what can happen. So if I get a full-time offer, so I think maybe I will continue maybe for a year or two. But I'm most likely leaning towards doing a master's. So specializing more with computer science and getting another degree and going in depth with computer science. And yes, I think that's what my plan is
Super.
looking like. But if I get a
Uh,
full-time, I think I will consider those options as well.
Super. Because I would say like almost 100% of my computer science students, whether it's bachelor's or masters, they always have a confusion, which jobs to pick up and all those things. The offers are always, higher, and it's a confusing aspect of which one to choose. Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was really, really interesting to listen to your life journey, especially, me talking to somebody who is half of my age and doing amazing things. It's not only enlightening for me, as well as for the uh, audience and all these things. Any final words before we sum up this beautiful show?
I mean, if I can add some points to what I was saying before for the
Sure,
students,
please. Why not?
one is you have to be passionate and dedicated toward this, because if you're looking to get into the industry, or even if you want to continue to have a career in academia, only sticking with academics is not going to be sufficient. It's not going to suffice. You have to explore around, try out everything. And I think that's one of the things that I think I did in my early semesters when I had some free time. I used to just explore, just sit with my laptop, explore with all the emerging technologies and everything. So those are one things. And talking about food, that you said some parents are concerned about food. I think even it also has to. I think parents need to understand. Parents have to be open that food habits are likely going to change a lot, and that's how it works. I mean, it and it has. I think everyone can manage it. At least for me, I'm a vegetarian and I was still able to manage so far, and my habits have changed so much, and I don't necessarily have to eat South Indian food every day. So I think that with the many other healthy alternatives, and everybody has, as I said, has to be adaptable. So I think those ways everyone can adapt.
Yes, brother. Because, say, why I said the South Indian meal topic is because does this food topic becomes a deciding factor for a child to do bachelor's in Europe or bachelor's in India? I fail to understand the logic literally. At the UG level, kids are so interested to do bachelor's in Europe. At PG level, parents are so interested. Some students, after doing bachelor's in India, they say we will do everything but never study anything further. This is what is happening currently. So
Sure.
thank you so much, Navneet. I know that you're working, you're studying, you have to take care of yourself, and then prepare for your master thesis. In between, Navneet on a weekday allotting time for us. Thank you so much, Navneet. This video will be like a template, especially for a student planning bachelor's in Europe, and that too computer science. This video will be like a template because you have shared how hard you have been working day in and day out, excluding all the distractions and just aiming the target. Wonderful. I'm sure, once again, I say this, your parents watching this interview, they'll be really proud of their son. And I am also slightly happy, not slightly, more happy. The TV show that I did made your parents to, get to know about this. That way, I'm also very happy. Thank you.
So that
Thank
way,
you.
I thank you, Study Center, because it was very meaningful, my interactions at least, and it was very helpful. It wasn't like you're trying to sell me a course or you're trying to sell me a service. It was actually, you actually try to understand. So I think that way I'm very thankful to Europe Study Center for like guiding me very well with this.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm sure, 5-6 years down the line, we will do this interviews part 2, at least 5-6 years later, to look at where Navneet is right now and also share those experience to the younger audience. As I told you, brother, the objective of these interviews is to enlighten audience about the options and possibilities so that they can prepare themselves for a better future. That's what. Okay. Thank you so much, Navneet. Now you can continue your work. I know that you have a lot of pending, a lot of works to do on your table. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.